Hello, my friends, and welcome back. Thank you very much for being with me again today. Trump says that Putin and Zelensky should meet alone without him because it's better. So that's the first article. Second article. France wants boots on the ground in Ukraine. My first question is this: why don't you send just French troops? I guarantee you, France, Mr. Macron, doesn't want to send French troops alone. He wants to send it with others. Why? Because France is strong. And the last topic, Mr. Maduro, the president of Venezuela, mobilizes its militia after the United States of America says it's deploying military forces to waters around Latin America. Let me get this straight. Is that illegal? No. Could that be a provocation? If you say no, then do you remember when the Russians deployed their own troops on their own territory? And the West says, take your troops back. That's a provocation to Ukraine. Remember that? Now these guys are moving towards, around Latin America, but that's not a provocation because the United States of America is not an imperialistic power. No. Why? Because they said so. You gotta trust them. Let's start with the first article, man. Here. Russia Today, the 20th of August, 2025. First Putin-Zelensky meeting, quote unquote, would be better without me. No, please don't. No, Donald, please don't let us. Oh, come on, please, we need you. Oh, no. Yes, please. Oh, no. Please, come, we can't do it without you. Okay. Have you ever had such a thing happen to you in the first, second, third grade of your life? I did. But after the third grade, whomever did this was smacked or called a pussy. Now this is Trump for you. I think. But hey, maybe he's got some points here. Let's read them. The US president said Russia and Ukraine should intensify bilateral negotiations. Correct. Good. He acts like a father, like a god. And he is not. I have to break the news for some. US President Donald Trump has said that the leaders of Russia and Ukraine should meet one-on-one before a potential three-way peace summit. Trump met with Russian President Vladimir Putin in Alaska and hosted Ukrainian leader Vladimir Zelensky in Washington 3 days later. He insisted that the sides begin working towards a lasting peace without a ceasefire first, as some European leaders have suggested. And I'm quoting Trump. I had a very successful meeting with President Putin. I had a very successful meeting with President Zelensky. And now I thought it would be better if they met without me, just to see. I want to see what goes on. End quote. Trump said. Excellent. And I'm going again. They had a hard relationship, a very bad relationship. And now we'll see how they do, and if necessary, and it probably would be, but if necessary, I'll go and I'll probably be able to get the deal closed. So he's just gonna come and say, children, enough. Daddy entered the room. I mean, it is true that without the orders coming from the side of America, I'm not saying the Americans, this war would have continued as it is right now. It does not mean that things will change necessarily. But I'm saying, the Americans with Trump, he thinks he plays the role of a parent, of a guy in charge, a mediator. None of the above are true. None. Zero. He's not a mediator. He's not a god. He's just another leader of another country. That's it. Or an elected official, a public servant. That's all. So when he says, I'm going to go in and straighten things out, the Russians allow you to do and play this role. They do let you. They can call you out today and say, what are you talking about? You're not a mediator. You are the root cause. You. Here is a mirror for you. Clip. That's you. Root cause. Off. But the Russian says, well, things work. All right, let's the peacock identify as a vulture. Right now I'm a vulture. Right now I'm an eagle. Right now I'm a baboon. All right, so let them see how they, and then if things don't go okay, I'm going to enter the room and say, son and son. Shake hands, friends. Fuck off. All right, let's go to the next one. And this is retarded as well. Russia Today. Macron wants boots on the ground in Ukraine. The French president has repeated his call for Western peacekeepers in the country, despite Moscow's warnings. So remember, did you read? Macron wants boots on the ground, calls for Western peacekeepers. Have you ever been in a gang or in a group of people, and this group of people gets challenged, or it's a tense situation, and in a group of people you have the alpha male with some generals, then you have some lieutenants, and you have the rank and file, and you have the agitators like Macron. Have you ever had this in a group? And then usually the agitators who have the least power, I'm talking about, so when the fight starts, they are the first to run and don't engage. But they have the biggest mouth, like France, Lithuania, Estonia, Latvia, the Baltic states. They have the biggest mouth. Total population of those three Baltic states is 6.1 million people, a village. But we have to do this, we. Who's we? Why don't you? You. The same with Macron. We want troops on the ground, Western peacekeepers. Why don't you send your boys, your soybeans, new French generation? Oh, you don't have any. Are you going to send the foreign legion, the foreigners with balls? Huh? Is that what it is? Why don't you go alone? This is what bothers me, when you have people like this. Only in packs they're strong. Alone, they're... Yeah, go ahead. That's what Macron is a Macron. Again, he wants troops on the ground, even though the Russians told them, we're going to fuck you up. That means allowing NATO troops in Ukraine. That's exactly what the Russians say, they try to prevent. And as of now, they kind of succeeded. Again, it doesn't bother me that these guys are trying, but bothers me this guy being tough with other people's lives. Like those, as I said, agitators in the pack. We are going to fuck you up, man. Yeah, right, yeah, well, and you just look at them and say, get the fuck, go home to mommy. I've been in these kind of circumstances. I talk from experience, and not only. And let's see how the Americans spread democracy around the world. Why? Because, the globe belongs to America. It was built by them, made, owned, everything. Inherited, because that's a rules-based world order. Made by the Americans, for whomever they decide they exist. Tomorrow they don't. Venezuela mobilizes its militia after U.S. says it's deploying military forces to waters around Latin America. Now, this is a bad thing. I remember in the communist times in Romania, when there were football games, the repressive forces of the communists were in high alert. Because when you have 30,000 people gathered on a stadium, you don't know who hijacked whom and what gets activated. And with, let's say, 10,000 people, that you move them in one direction, they can go and enter wherever they want to enter. Therefore, and those were unarmed. Now the militia here, you give exactly what happened, if you remember, in Tsarist Russia. In the First World War, the Tsar had to give the peasants, who kind of were oppressed by the nobility, let's put it mildly, had to give them weapons, arm them to defend Russia, to defend the guys in charge. And that was hijacked. The peasants said, oh, thank you for the weapons. Now let's turn against you. So with militia here, it's very dangerous. So the Americans bring the deploying forces around Latin America. These guys mobilize its militia, and within militia you have traitors, like always, who could say, okay, from now on my battalion will go straight to Caracas and take care of Mr. Maduro, together with other CIA operatives in the country, within the countries, on the American payroll, and that's how Maduro gets killed. Right? I'm sorry, gets tried and justice and so on, and then he gets hanged like Saddam Hussein. Oh, or maybe, I don't know, quicker as Mr. what's his name, Gaddafi, or maybe quicker never like Putin. All right, so it's very dangerous what Mr. Maduro is doing right now. He must be very certain that those people in the militia are very loyal to him, because he could end up by no move from America, just a little bit of marching around. You react, arm the wrong people, gather the wrong people, mobilize them, and then as a force, they will topple you. Well, I hope let's leave to the Venezuelans, not other countries from outside. Remember, when the Russians deployed their own troops at the border with Ukraine on their territory, they said, you know what, what's going on over there is not good, we're going to deploy it. All these United States of America and everybody called Mr. Putin, get your armies back on his territory. Here, these guys come close to these guys and no threat whatsoever. Why? We are the forces of good. We never toppled governments, we never imposed sanctions, we never blackmailed, we never threatened, we never bombarded anybody unless we defended the good. And the good is, we are the good. When we say so. When we have to create some self-hatred, they will take care of to make us hate ourselves. Why? Divide and Impera. Thank you very much for being with me again today. We'll see if something happens in Venezuela. If Venezuela had no oil, no resources, zero, just, I don't know, some coconuts, not even that, sand and water, salt water, you would not hear about Venezuela anything but some dances and some Quanta la mera. That's all you would hear. And maybe those guys with drugs, and we'd be like, what the fuck is going on? But because unfortunately for some and fortunately for others, they have oil, a lot of oil. Supposedly the biggest reserves are in Venezuela area. And Chevron wants it badly. And Shell and BP, British Petroleum, and all those good people who run our lives. Good job. Thank you very much for being with me again today. So take your troops back, man. Take them back. There's a threat. No. Stay strong. A little bit of consistency. How about that? Stay strong, stay smart, look for the truth, and be just.